ES Audio.
From the Evening Standard in London, I'm David Marsland, and this is the Leader Weekends. Every Saturday, we bring you a bonus episode. This is a cut-down version, so hit the link in the show notes to hear the full thing, or search your podcast provider for How to Be a CEO. It's easy to get carried away with a new business, especially one with a product that you really want to make bang. Make it do this, we can do this too, you like that? Well, we've got this, and suddenly, it's all a bit unwieldy. And people say, I just want something simple. Put all that in a kitchen, and Charlie Bigham's learned all of those lessons.
How about macaroni cheese? It's such a lovely dish, but let's use 6 different cheeses, and oh, wouldn't it be fun if we put just a tiny little pinch of truffle into that? And what we found with that with that dish is when we talk to consumers, they said, we love macaroni cheese, but you've just made it a bit complicated.
The company that bears his own name was founded in his own kitchen in 1996, where he used to deliver a handful of dishes himself to stores on his bicycle. Now he has 700 employees and a vast range of meals, from chicken and mushroom pies you stick in the oven to pan-fried pad thais. The company's expanded and innovated, but not everything's hit straight away.
And if I'm honest, we just started doing them about 6 months ago. I was actually in a meeting yesterday looking at the numbers. They don't really stack up actually at the moment.
I'm David Marsden from the Evening Standard. We're going to be talking to Charlie about the early days of his business, why the UK's adventurous eaters make a better market than, say, France or Italy for a startup meals company, and why keeping it simple works so well. But the first thing I want to know is, what's the best-selling dish on the Charlie Bigham menu?
The best-selling dish we have is our fish pie, our fantastic fish pie.
Yeah? Has it always been the fish pie?
No, it hasn't always been. It probably has been for the last 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I think it's going to be quite hard to knock it off its perch.
Why is that?
Because it's very, very good. And people like to eat fish pies, but they don't really like to cook fish pies, because it's quite a fiddly thing to do, to cook a fish pie yourself at home. And it's quite hard to find, it's not the easiest thing to find really high quality fresh fish. So yeah, it's a very popular dish. In fact, our most popular dish.
I'm interested that it's been popular for around about 10 years, because I'm guessing in a trade like yours, though, tastes must change.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, actually. I think tastes actually change a little bit less than we think. So I'm lucky enough, I spend quite a lot of my time in London, and I think London is one of the most incredible cities in the world. It's definitely in the top 3 in the world. But it has this extraordinary, food culture and restaurant culture, which is, which actually relatively new. I can remember when that wasn't there. But it's really built over the last 25 years. And so there's kind of constant, if you live in or near London, there's this constant experimentation of new cuisines and new restaurants opening the whole time. But our food we sell all over the UK. And actually, our tastes as a nation have changed relatively little. Our other really high-selling dishes, lasagna. And lasagna would have been a top-selling dish. If you looked at what the nation was eating 25 years ago, lasagna would have been right up there. Chicken tikka would have probably been right up there 15 years ago, and that's another big selling dish for us. Our tastes change more slowly than we think, but I do think we're very fortunate in the UK. We don't have this, I love the food of Italy or France with those, with their sort of hugely long culinary traditions, which go back hundreds of years. But it does mean, the flip side of that, if you're in Italy or France, is that they are very conservative with their food. Very conservative.
How do you mean?
Well, so in Italy, it's quite hard to go out in Italy not to a restaurant serving Italian food.
Of course, yeah.
And I kind of get why, because they've got the most wonderful food and traditions, ingredients. But, I love it that I can be in London and I can go to a Sri Lankan restaurant one day and a Thai one the next, and a Middle East, a Persian restaurant the next day, in Turkish. You've just got everything in London, and we are open to experimentation.
Anyone fancy some food? I'm going to rustle something up. Maybe a fish pie? While we wait, here's some ads. And why not take this moment to hit your follow button? why did you do it in the first place? Because, I mean, you had a fairly comfortable, I think, salaried position. You were doing fine.
Well, I was. Yeah, I mean, I think money is we all need money to pay the bills and all of that, and so I never say money's not important, because I think it's a silly thing to say. You kind of need some money, but I was a management consultant. I actually really enjoyed being a management consultant. I learned a lot. I was learning a lot, but ultimately I was not very good at working for someone else. I didn't really like being told what to do. And I had a few ideas of my own, and I just had a hunch that it might fit with who I am to set up and run my own business. And that was a really good decision.
But why this one? I mean, what made this one go, do you know what, I need to do this?
So actually, really simple. Was I sort of, with my consultant's hat on, I was like, well, there's this market, and I sort of did a bit of that. And then I kind of thought, well, what do I really love? What do I really enjoy in life? And it was like, well, actually, I really enjoy food. I love cooking. I love eating. I love buying food. I love, finding out about food. And I think I talk to quite a few people now, young people especially, and I kind of think it's really great if you can find something in your work that you love. It just means, it's not a chore for me coming into work. It's a joy. And it also sustains you, because, you're not thinking, oh, I've got to turn up to work again. It's like, oh, great, I'm going to work. What am I going to learn today? Consumers more of what they want.
Can you remember to when you went back and made your first hirings? At what point during the company's evolution did you go, right, now is the time to bring people in? And I guess, what were you looking for then, and has that changed now? I
took my first person on in the first week because, I did a lot to begin with, but I couldn't do it all. It's pretty manual what we do here. And so we've always had, if you like, a disproportionate number of people relative to our size. I mean, you can run a huge, IT business with about 5 people, but you can't run a food business with 5 people. So I actually fundamentally, I don't think it's changed what we're looking for. I mean, first of all, we're looking for people who'll take a punt with us, because we're a bit different. We attract quite a lot of people, out of big corporate companies who've had fantastic training, and they sort of, that part of it maybe they like that sort of corporate safety net, but are also frustrated by it because they feel held back. So it's kind of come and join us and be released. And I think the other thing that I would say is still the same is when I'm interviewing someone, what I'm really looking for is I'm looking for attitude and intelligence. And I'm not intelligence in its broadest sense. Attitude and intelligence to me is much more interesting than experience.
Thinking about the products you've got now, I was genuinely surprised that you've only just started doing side dishes. What took you so long, Charlie?
Well, we've looked at it several times over the years, and we haven't really managed to get it to stack up financially. And if I'm honest, we just started doing them about 6 months ago. I was actually in a meeting yesterday looking at the numbers. They don't really stack up financially at the moment. But that's okay. That's okay, because we've started. So now we'll learn about that area more, and we'll get better at it over time. It takes time. I
wonder why that is, because you are a very established main meals provider. I, as a customer, was genuinely surprised the side dishes weren't there. How, I guess, do you get people to think about picking up the sides as well? These are presumably live questions for you right now.
Yes, and I think one of the reasons we did the side dishes actually is because I think there are quite a lot of people out there who enjoy going into a shop and, if you like, buying a whole meal, saying, well, I'll have the main, I'll have the side, I'll have the pudding. And we make main dishes and we make puddings, and so we were missing a bit. So we thought, well, and actually we sort of make a few side dishes anyway. We already made a dauphinoise potato, for example, which was sold with a bœuf bourguignon. So it's like, okay, we make a really delicious, potato different. Let's now just try selling it on its own rather than you have to buy the Boeuf Bourguignon with it. So, but yeah, I mean, we're it's fun. It's fun sort of doing some new things, and I've got lots of ideas. The chefs have got lots of ideas about how we move our side dishes on to a new level. I think we've started reasonably conservatively, but I think we should be able to do some great things with those over the years. And what's been good for us, actually, the demand for them. You could have probably told me this, several years ago, but the demand for them has been higher than we thought. So that gives us encouragement to spend more time and effort doing a few more of them and doing them better.
That was Charlie Bigham. For more interviews, news and analysis, go to standard.co.uk/business or pick up the Evening Standard newspaper.